And this is one of the reasons why NRA Carry Guard is around here. This is a new concealed carry training program. It is a concealed carry insurance plan. It is really a complete system here. Going to be unveiled during the NRA Annual Meetings, but you can get a sneak peek by going to nracarryguard.com. And I'm really pleased right now to talk to the lead firearms instructor for NRA Carry Guard. Geoff Houston is with us. Geoff, thank you for your time, sir.
Happy to be here, Cam.
Listen, it's great talking with you. And let me just ask you, how would you describe, what is your elevator pitch for NRA Carry Guard? What is this program all about? Because as I said, there are several different components to this.
Yeah, there is different components to it for sure. People ultimately, at the end of the day, we all know, as the NRA has fought so hard for, that we've got a right to carry firearms. But people that are choosing to carry a firearm day in and day out, they really have a responsibility to themselves and to their family members to get the proper training to carry that firearm in a responsible manner. It's a serious thing to do. It's a commitment. Can possibly be a lifestyle change. And Carry Guard training allows someone to come to a 3-day course and get exposed to a large variety of different factors, considerations, and things that they need to know and get proficient on to carry a firearm to protect themselves and their family.
And this 3-day course is going to be rolling out later this year. And it sounds like you guys are going really coast to coast all around the country. You're going to be offering this course to folks. Talk about your experience, if you can, Geoff. Active duty military, member of the Green Beret, and thank you very much for your service. But both in uniform and in the civilian world, I mean, you have been both training with and training others on firearms, it sounds like, for most of your life.
Yeah, absolutely. Obviously, I did time on Army Special Forces, went downrange a number of times, and that's kind of where my foundation started for learning how to properly use a firearm to obviously defend myself and fight for our freedoms. And came back stateside, and ever since 2009, I've been training thousands of civilians, law enforcement personnel, and as well as my own friends and family, and how to properly be able to defend themselves using a concealed handgun, both outside their home and, of course, inside their home as well. So I've trained a lot of people, and I've seen a lot of different training programs and training classes and tactics and techniques, and I'm familiar with a really wide variety of ways on how people have been getting trained for the past couple decades, and it's not always a good course that people are going to. Just the instructor may not be well versed on things that he should be well versed on. And sometimes the students just don't know what that training is that they're getting. So it's really great for people to be able to go to such a reputable name and brand of training as NRA to get the proper training that they actually need. And for Carry Guard specifically, we've gotten together a great group of instructors to develop this course. A couple fantastic Navy SEAL veterans and a couple Army Special Forces veterans, myself and one other, to develop this program. So we've used, all of us have used not just our experience, of course, downrange in a combat environment, but our experience, also home, carrying day in and day out, protecting ourselves and protecting our family. So we've kind of melded those experiences together, and that gives the end user, the students of our class, a really, really great foundation, a very strong foundation that's been proven to work because we've used it and proved it in combat.
Talking to you with Geoff Houston, who's the lead instructor for NRA Carry Guard, and you mentioned some of the other names there. James Jarrett, veteran Green Beret, who's the NRA Carry Guard curriculum director. Eric Frohart, veteran Navy SEAL, who's the training director. George Severance, former Navy SEAL, who's the national director of NRA Carry Guard. I mean, when you guys get together, Geoff, and start to kick around training ideas, I would have loved to have been a fly on the wall for that discussion, because, I mean, you guys have probably forgotten more about firearms than most of us will ever know. But what is it like to sit there with these other professionals, each of you, again, with years of training experience, and try to come up with, all right, what's the best of the best that we can do here in a 3-day program which, by the way, I mean, you've got a lot of time now. That's a lot longer than a typical, afternoon gun safety course. So what were the priorities when you guys got together, and what is it that you wanted people to walk away with when they get through with one of these training sessions?
Well, it was certainly interesting getting down and actually starting to talk through this because, we have been exposed to so many different training courses. And, between all four of us, we've trained under, a multitude of world champion pistol shooters, combat professional pistol shooters, competitive pistol shooters. So we really did have to take a step back and say, okay, we've been through a lot of training that was really great for us, but what parts of those trainings are going to be most applicable to your average civilian on the street that's carrying, here stateside? So not everything, of course, carried over. We weeded through a lot of the stuff that we've learned in the past and made some changes to make things, more properly fit the average civilian while they're carrying. And honestly, what I thought about most when we were thinking through what to put in, what to keep in, what to drop out was, what if my mom or my sister or my brother or my father was taking this course? What would I want them to see? What would I want them to get repetitions on? What would I want them to hear? And that really helped me, put it in perspective. Because it's difficult to just say, okay, if I was taking this course, what would I want to see? Because after firing millions of rounds and done all the hours of training that we've done, it's just hard to sometimes take a step back and consider it without looking through someone else's eyes. In my case, looking at it from a family member's perspective.
So from that perspective, I don't know what kind of experience your family has with firearms, but you also, I imagine, want to gear this for a wide range of gun owners, from people who are relatively new to gun ownership and maybe new to carrying, to those who've been carrying for a long time and who want to get that next level of training. So how do you do that? How do you try to make the program both as broad as possible and as helpful to as many people as possible?
Yeah, great point, Cam. We do want this to be appealing and applicable and helpful to a wide variety of people. And that's why, ultimately this will be a 3-part program, level 1, 2, and 3. So this year we're launching level 1, and level 1, it still has something for everybody. But most importantly, level 1 really hashes and lays out the fundamentals. And as we often say, the best do the basics better. So, if you're a brand new person coming into the gun world and never even owned a gun, never carried a gun, this course is going to be fantastic for you because you're going to learn a ton of new information, and you're going to get advice and knowledge and tips on every single little aspect that you need to be familiar with to even consider carrying a firearm. And then if you're on the flip side of that, you've already been carrying a gun for 20 years, you've taken a few courses, you feel proficient, I promise you will still come to this course and learn new things. You'll learn new tools to carry. You'll get put through real life scenarios using airsoft training that I promise you will be a game changer for you mentally and how you can react and handle a situation on the streets or in your home. So regardless if you're new or if you're experienced, there's definitely going to be something in this course for everyone. Gosh, we've already put a few people through this course during development that have been exposed to, dozens and dozens of firearms training sessions in schools, and they're just raving about it. We've really done a good job compiling something for everybody, and I promise you again, if you're an experienced shooter, you're still going to come to this course, and I promise you will leave getting a lot out of it.
Well, listen, Geoff, I appreciate you coming on the program, giving us a sneak peek here. I know we're going to be talking much more in the coming weeks and months. Hopefully we get a chance to catch up in Atlanta here in a few days. But thank you so much, sir, for coming on the program today.
Absolutely, Cam. Thanks for having me.
You bet. We'll talk again very soon. Geoff Houston, the lead instructor for NRA Carry Guard, talking about the training portion of this program. Now, the other aspect of this program that's really, really important is the concealed carry insurance portion of this program. If you go to NRACarryGuard.com, you can get more information on that as well. Everything from $1 million of civil protection, $150,000 in criminal defense insurance, 24/7 access to a members-only hotline for incident reporting, for emergency assistance, immediate access as needed. If, God forbid, you're ever in a position where you have to protect yourself, you have to defend your life, you know that you acting in self-defense and you defending your life, that doesn't mean that the cops show up and say, okay, everything's good, thanks. No, you're still going to be questioned. You are still going to need to hire an attorney. The legal process is still going to play out. And in all of those instances, that's going to take money. You know, one day, hopefully one day soon, if God forbid you ever put in that situation, then the police come back and they say, yep, this was self-defense and no charges are necessary. But what happens in the meantime? And, you know, we've seen some of these armed citizen stories where months will go by before a district attorney makes that determination that this was a self-defense shooting and no charges are going to be filed. What happens in those days and weeks while the investigation is continuing? What happens if an anti-gun prosecutor decides that, you know what, we're going to try to charge and make an example out of you? All of these are real possibilities. And the Carry Guard program, again, helps give you a little bit of reassurance there. So check it out at nracarryguard.com. We're going to be talking more with Geoff and the folks from the training side as well as the folks from the insurance side. I think it's just, again, a really cool, complete program that the NRA unveiling. And again, you can learn a lot more about it at the NRA Annual Meetings coming up in Atlanta this weekend.